There you go.
Walking down the road to Jerusalem, the time had come to sacrifice again. My two small sons, they walked beside me on the road. The reason they came is to watch the Lamb. Daddy, Daddy, what will we see there? There's so much that we don't understand. So I told them of Moses, Father Abraham. Then I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. There'll be so many in Jerusalem today. We must be sure the Lamb doesn't get away. And I told them of Moses, Father Abraham. And I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. Reached the city, I knew something must be wrong. There were no joyful worshipers, no joyful worship songs. I stood there with my children in the midst of angry men, and I heard the crowd cry out, crucify him. We tried to leave the city, but we could not get away. Forced to play in this drama, a part I did not wish to play. Why were we standing here where soon they would pass by? Why were these? I looked and said, even now they come. The first one cried for mercy, the people gave him none. The second one was violent, he was arrogant and loud. I could still hear his angry voice screaming at the crowd. Then someone said, there's Jesus. I scarce believed my eyes. A man so badly beaten, he barely looked alive. Blood flowed from his body, the thorns upon his brow, running down the cross, falling to the ground. I watched him as he struggled. I watched him as he fell. Tossed him down upon his back. The crowd began to yell. That moment I felt such agony. In that moment I felt such loss. Just then a Roman soldier grabbed my arm and screamed, you! Carry his cross! At first I tried resisting. Then his hand reached for his sword. So I knelt and took the cross from the Lord. I placed it on my shoulder and started down the street. The blood that he'd been shedding was running down my cheek. He led us to Golgotha. They drove nails in his feet and hands. Yet upon the cross I heard him pray, Father, forgive them. Oh, never have I seen such love in any other eyes. To thy hand I commit my spirit, he prayed, then he died. I stood for what seemed years. I'd lost all sense of time. Then I felt two tiny hands holding tight to mine. My children stood there weeping. I heard the oldest say, Father, please forgive us. Lamb ran away. Daddy, Daddy, what have we seen here? There's so much that we don't understand. So I took them in my arms. We turned and faced across. And I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. The gates and doors were barred, and all the windows fastened down. I spent the night in sleeplessness, rose at every sound, half in hopeless sorrow, half in fear of the day, but find the soldiers breaking through to drag us all away. Just before the sunrise, I heard something at the wall. The gate began to rattle, and a voice began to call. I hurried to the window, looked down into the street, expecting swords and torches, and the sound of soldiers' feet. There was no one there but Mary, so I went down to let her in. John stood there beside me as she told us where she'd been. She said they'd moved him in the night, and none of us knows where. The stone's been rolled away, and now his body isn't there. We both ran toward the garden, then John ran on ahead. We found the stone and the empty tomb just the way that Mary said. But the winding sheet they'd wrapped him in was just an empty shell. How or why they'd taken him was more than I could tell. Well, something strange had happened there, but just what I didn't know. John believed a miracle, but I just turned to go. Circumstance and speculation couldn't lift me very high, 'cause I'd seen them crucify him, then I saw him die. Back inside the house again, the guilt and anguish came. Everything I promised him just added to my shame. When at last it came to choices, I denied I knew his name. Even if he was alive, wouldn't be the same. Suddenly the air was filled with strange and sweet perfume. Light had come from everywhere, drove shadows from the room. Jesus stood before me, with his arms held open wide. I fell down on my knees, just clung to him and cried. He raised me to my feet, and as I looked into his eyes, love was shining out from him like sunlight from the skies. Guilt and my confusion disappeared in sweet release, and every fear I'd ever had just melted into peace. He's alive! He's alive! He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive! He's alive! He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive.